I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order of business tonight is the approval of our prior minutes. This is the regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we also had a Growth Festival meeting, and those minutes are in front of you as well.
Yeah, it's one page. Keep looking.
There you go.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, Andy.
Alright, underwater, the plant's treated 1,349,440 gallons of water since October 24th. Our average daily usage over the last 3 weeks has been 64,259 a day. Filters were backwashed on October 27th and 31st, and again on November 11th. We repaired one water main break and had 2 water leaks on service lines that we repaired. With the house fire and the water main break on October 30th, we pumped an additional 155,000 gallons of water. That water main break about pretty much emptied the water tower. The November back T test is complete. It was absent. Our October water report is complete. It's been submitted to IDEM. The water project's moving along nicely. We're waiting on the permit modification from NDOT for the new water main crossing on State Road 19. So they moved back over to Central. And we're going to be moving the Central Street water main from the east side to the west side. There's too many conflicts on the west side with utilities, especially the phone company. They have numerous lines that they ran down through there until they were located. And they're all spaced apart, they're not together. So with that, with some changes to that run, I think the cost is about going to be a wash. And the only other thing I want to eliminate now is originally that water main was going to be new all the way to the ball diamond. That's the only service on it. I mean, if the money is there to do it, okay, but otherwise I want to end it at Moore's. Make that turn. There'll be a new fire hydrant there on that corner. And it's a lot of money for one service, you know.
Is that a 1-inch line currently that is back there?
Yeah. It's ran with the sewer.
Okay.
See, it's kind of weird. Morris has let them cut through their backyard. It's a nice one. It's in that alley there, it's that manhole. It catches the water main there. They're run together diagonally through Allen's backyard, across Central, and then down Central. It's an 8-inch line. Yeah, and then right there at the north end of the property, they split. Of course, one goes to the meter pit, and then that 8 gets sized down. It keeps getting smaller as it goes to the building. Because when you get all the way up by the building, it's like 4-inch there. So he's going to get some numbers back on that to see where that is. It's going to shorten some of our tie-ins that are going across Central. We won't have those road cuts. It'll shorten up the footage of water line too. You know, I mean, we're going to eliminate probably 100 feet or more of water mains, so I don't think it's going to be a money issue. And then, the new water main for the plant, it's complete. I hope to put it into service next week after our two total coliform tests on it. We're gonna pressure test it tomorrow. And they did also install that additional fire hydrant there on Adams. So they did have the hot tap, that's in service now.
So will both the lines now service the system at the same time, and what we got? They'll both be on?
Yeah,
Okay.
so the new one's an 8-inch. Comes in right there on Adams Street. We got 3 valves there now, so you can shut off Adams Street and keep what's going across the old line across 19 going, or you could shut off that line and still keep feeding Adams. And then of course you'll have the T where the new line goes in, it goes up Walnut, so there'll be there's 4 total valves there now, so you'll be able to configure that in a lot of different ways to shut areas off or keep other areas in service while something's being done. But yeah, that part went pretty well, because most of they were going through the farm ground there. Then our wastewater, performing daily checks to the lift station sewer plant. Sewer plant's open and we are still discharging. Weekly sewer samples are complete. I'm working on a manhole assessment repair plan to submit to IDM. I have been in contact with them on that for the I&I. And then I have verified that we do have an issue with the check valves at the lift station. I believe the backflow is giving us a false reading on our influent meter because that pipe's filling up with air after that lift station shuts off, and until it fills back up, the mag meter can't detect whether the pipe is empty or not. So if the pipe's half full and it's moving, it perceives that pipe is full. It's giving us a high read. I'm gonna be tearing those down tomorrow, and hopefully we can just repair them. But I'll see once we take them apart what we're gonna have to do there. Then we repaired a damaged sewer line over on Adams Street that we came across when they were doing the water main. That was allowing groundwater to get in the collection system, so that'll cut a little bit out there. Under streets, I'm gonna be ordering road salt this week. We're gonna need approximately 60 tons. It's about $79 a ton. We're out on that, but we should be in pretty good shape. We didn't spend any last year. Flower lots been emptied and they're stored for the winter. We did winterize the ball diamond, and we're going to be putting the pitcher's mounds and the bases in storage for winter here this week. And we cleaned the shelter house from the water leak, and I had Bolden's clean the carpet. Then under building, had 1 electrical permit, 1 permit inquiry, 2 electrical inspections, had 1 zoning inquiry, and then the October census report is complete, and it's been submitted. That's all I have. Unless you have any questions.
What leaked at the shelter house?
Ground rainwater coming in.
Rainwater, that's
okay.
why we're,
That night it was pouring down rain. We got
Okay.
like 2.6 inches there. I haven't, Steve Harley still hasn't gotten back with me on that. And I asked, I'm getting a price from Watson's. I asked Bill when this project's over, he's gonna give us a price on fixing that sewer issue we have by the town garage. And then also on this one, while they're still here, it's man, this thing's over and here and all your equipment.
Until that's fixed, we're gonna continue to have a problem.
Yeah. So, that's all I have. If you wanna do him now or not, I think Larry has a pace mill.
Okay. We're gonna jump ahead here to the old business. Larry with Triads here.
I'll try it. There's a transmittal, 4 copies of the payout, 92 back. They're pretty much, work has been completed so far to date. So line A, B, B1, minus a few valves that me and Andy have agreed on taking them out. We all sat down, I and the contractor all sat down and made sure that the numbers match, so it's all underway there.
I hear a motion tonight that we accept, approve,
I make
pay
a
out number 2, it's for $235,629.
I make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That just states that I brought it to you.
Okay.
And
Is this yours?
Yours, I need 2 copies of that.
2.
Yes, sir.
There you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Murray's not with us tonight. Robin?
The only thing I have is, can we set up a time to go over our budget before the end of the year? And salary ordinances and all of that. So we need to preferably do a workshop. It'll take us several hours.
I assume during the day would be
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
How soon would you like to try to do this?
Well, if we can do it, by December 15th, then maybe we can cut out that last meeting like we tried to do.
Okay. Yeah. That last meeting's the 26th on Tuesday, 4th Tuesday.
I suppose
So-
I suppose we could go as far out as the 22nd if we really needed to. But do we want to?
That week's real busy for me, that's the last week of school. So, well, we'll
So
try to
like-
do it during the day.
During the day.
If we pick something like the first 2 weeks of December would probably be,
We have a board meeting on the 12th, so if we could,
or even the last week in November.
Okay, I got a doctor's appointment on Friday. Let's cut this one prior to, it's the only day I won't be
the
there.
9th,
Right.
the 9th here. The 8th, actually.
The 8th, yeah, the 8th is the Saturday, and the 9th
Ninth
is
is Saturday.
Jody.
sorry. Can we let you know? Do you need to know?
No, you can let me know.
Yeah.
That'll give us a chance to see what Johnny has available.
Yeah,
too.
since he's not here tonight. We'll try to be looking at your calendars and we'll try to let Robin know of the workshop during the day. What, 10 o'clock?
I think so.
Okay.
We'll just, I'll do lunch through it.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
That's all I have.
We'll move on to the fire department. Jerry's with us tonight, so.
I just passed that around so we'll, our in-service target date is still December the 28th. Again, some things have got to fall into place and to make that happen. One of them being the EMS contract, and I know probably need to talk about that tonight. And I hope I did my math right there. Robin, what did we pay Jackson? Was it 26,000 last year?
28.
28, so that's gonna change it. And it's going up to 30,
31 and some change.
okay. Well, then the bottom one is correct, so.
And that's just for EMS, not for
Well,
fire too?
that's. Last year, and I'm using a run total that we heard about last night at an informational meeting down at the county.
Right.
There was 43 runs in 2016 made to the town of Atlanta. And based on that, and again, the math's off a little bit with the, because I thought it was 26, but it's 28. So it's gonna raise that $812.50 figure per run, plus whatever they're billing. I don't know, we don't know what they bill, and we don't know how much they collect, and maybe that's something we need to ask them. But if you'll see, if we use the same, if we would, the same 32 runs, which it's close in 2017, we're upping that figure per run to about $970 per run. So, plus what they bill. Now we also know that they don't always receive what they bill. Medicaid, Medicare, whatever. It just so we're paying them almost if in 2017 we would be paying them almost $1,000 a run plus what they bill.
You said it's 971 is what you think it's what
It's going to be 968 somewhere around
968.
that. Yeah.
It's on
But I
the
just-
paper he just sent you.
Okay, I just got a bill the other day from my wife, and Medicare paid everything except for $98.80, which is what I got to pay them.
Okay.
So you subtract that from what you're talking
How much do
about.
they pay Medicaid, or how much?
I don't
It's
know.
capped.
I didn't receive a bill on what they charge Medicare.
Well, I do know somebody that lives in the township that paid $700.
I heard it was $800 and some what Medicare
It would not
paid.
surprise me. I mean,
And
they have it. They have an ALS
Yeah,
amount and they have a BLS amount, but we don't know what that is.
and then the $98, which I owe, probably made up the difference for,
So like I say, we probably need to come back and talk about the contract. I'm still working on the run card, run orders. Hopefully I can have that done here within this next week and get those down to the county so that we can start making sure that those work in the system. Fred, are you going to talk a little bit here in a little bit about our meeting last night?
Yes, I gave the council a handout this evening, the handout that we received.
Okay.
And each one has a copy tonight for their review over the proposed cost for 2019.
So, and again, we don't know the exact costs because that formula hasn't been finalized. And there was a lot of good questions asked last night at that meeting, and so we'll just have to see where that goes. The radios, the town received a warranty invoice for the 5 radios, the 3 portables and 2 mobiles. We had a chance last night to talk to Sarah Algerman down at that meeting, asking her what we still needed to do. We still need to get the ownership of those radios switched over to the town of Atlanta, or in our meeting, Fred and I sit down with the chief and the trustee on Saturday to talk about some things, and it was even brought up in that meeting that the town could pay them for those, and then they would submit it along with theirs. But I don't know if we want to do that. And Manny, that's something that you probably need to weigh in on that, on the ownership of those radios.
right.
So is the invoice that I have though, is it accurate?
It is accurate,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
And that's for the five radios that we currently have. I think I've told you in the past that a mobile radio costs, I think, around $7 grand. A portable handheld's about $5 grand. We saw figures on Saturday that cut those costs in half. But again, that's when the county went to that new system, and Motorola cut them a price break on those. I think the portable was like $2,700. So, and I don't know if that's something I tried to get or speak with Dan Stevens today. Dan's the administrator of this lease, I think, for the county. He's also the administrative assistant for the county commissioners. And we didn't cross paths today. I was there twice and I missed him both times. So maybe tomorrow I can ask him exactly what he needs from the town in order to get those radios switched over.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take probably a letter from the council president requesting it. but, until he tells us exactly what we need. So, I'm still pulling together some cost and numbers on items that I've discussed at the last two council meetings. And then for my sit down with Robin on the 3rd of November, I did when I sit down with Robin, I had kind of given her a preliminary budget for 2018. But again, not knowing what the last 5 years of having a budget, so I'm sure some of those numbers can be tweaked.
Well, and you'll be invited to the meeting that we have.
Okay. Okay. I did get a couple of numbers that I've been able to pull together. One is they do the pump test on the engine. It's $250 plus it's $250 per apparatus. So there's two down there, so it'll be $500 plus $100 travel charge. And that is a guy that will come to your station. He has everything. It's a portable setup. Brings the water with him and everything. The problem is this time of the year, it's weather dependent, and so I may get that invoice from him, and then maybe we can encumber that for the spring, maybe with some of the carryover money that we have. I've also spoken with Jerry Kelly, who's a local resident here, on renumbering the engines. I have removed the numbers, the current numbers, from the engine. To renumber the engine is $35. Which that's a great deal. That's gonna be on the front bumper, on the front right-hand side, and on the back of the engine. And then I also got a cost on bringing that chevron striping on the back up to an FPA code, and that's $400, which again I thought was a pretty good cost. On the mobile data terminals that will put in the engine, also known as an MDT, we have signed a contract with Verizon Wireless to provide the air cards for that at $30 per terminal. We can, I only have one MDT at this time, still working with the county to get another one. If that second one doesn't materialize, we can redo that contract and take that one off, and then pay for the one that's in the engine. That's, well, one other thing we need to talk about, I need to put my members in gear. I need about 6 sets. That's at about $18.45 a piece for a complete set of gear. And that's gonna be just shy of, well, it's gonna be $11,070. So, now again, I will share with you that in our meeting on Saturday, we were offered gear from Jackson Township. I don't know what the condition of it is, but what I would do is get somebody to come in and size the members, and then see if we can, if the council so wants, we can see if we can use some of that gear from Jackson. So.
In our conversation, Jerry, do you recall, was that gear that they offered, was it
very similar to what we
still
have
in date? I mean,
yes.
Okay.
At least that's what Chief Musart said.
Yeah.
So, but again, I think that'll be an option. And then I'm sure later on in the meeting we can talk about some of the other things that came up in that meeting. But that's all I have for right now. Unless you guys have any questions for me.
I'd like to ask approval from the council tonight for the numbers and the stripes to be put on the engine to make it compliant.
I'll make a motion the board gives consent for Jerry to go ahead and get that done.
I'll second that motion.
In favor, aye?
Aye.
And then I guess the pump test as well. I did mention that.
Yes, that's it.
Make a motion.
I make a motion to go ahead with the pump test.
And I have been told that that is an annual requirement. So
I'll
we
second.
will keep maintenance records on that, because that'll be important that we do that.
Thank you, Jerry.
Yep, thank you.
All right, we already took care of one order of old business, and that was the triad, approving their pay app. Manny is with us tonight, and in our last meeting, as you know, we voted to, involving the Orange Baseball, and voted to reach out to try to set up a time
Yep.
to meet with them. Have you?
Yeah, I talked to their attorney a couple times, and tonight obviously didn't work. So I told him when the next meeting was, and he was gonna check in with Steve and the board. He hasn't got back to me yet, but I'll keep.
Any indication to you?
So the indication was they want to try to work it out, and that I think he's gonna actually try to get them here. I don't have the feeling yet that he's dodging me. I think he really is trying to get their schedules together to come to me.
Do you know if Steve Winowski, is he the head of their board?
He's the
Is he
president.
President?
Yeah, he's the president.
Okay.
And the guy representing him is his best friend. So
I just wasn't sure that if he was the head of the board or just a spokesman for him or.
as far as their records show on the Secretary of State's website, he's president of the board.
And they know that we want all the board members here.
I made it clear that Steve and the board.
Good. We're trying to work it out with Orange Baseball. We like having the kids down there playing. But there's just a lot of things that have been done under the table and lots of hearsay and everything else that we want to get it straightened out so we can have kids playing down at the fields safely.
Look forward to correspondence.
Yeah, so I'll make a note to call him again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just kind of see where he is on scheduling.
Okay.
And I'll let you guys know.
Any other old business from the floor tonight? Jerry, I know the whole fire territory thing is old business. I don't know if there's anything else you wanna discuss or bring up.
Well, like I said, Fred and I, we met with the chief, and the trustee on Saturday for probably about 2.5 hours, I believe, and, I thought the meeting went well. But the first thing they threw at us was, and Chief Muzar looked at both of us and says, why does the town think that they need to reestablish their fire department? That's exactly how he put it. And it kinda,
Yeah.
you know, I think I've been honest with you and upfront with you, you know, it's expensive running a fire department. It seems like every time we're turning around, we're spending, you know, $200, $300, $400, $500, $600. So that was the first thing that was brought out. But we did, like I said, we never discussed the contracts, and for somehow that was just never brought up. But we talked about a lot of other things. We talked about gear that hadn't been returned. We actually went out and found some things in our storage, and we brought back with us. There's still things down here that I'm sure that's theirs. I did receive by email the inventory that was done by the station captain before they pulled out and went back to Arcadia. So I do have that. I need to compare that to the one that Todd did after everything came back. And from what I'm seeing, and I've looked over it just very briefly, but there's a lot of the things that are on the ones of Todd. So, like I said, they've got it broken down into what was owned by Jackson, the territory, Atlanta, and the Volunteer Corporation. Is how it's broken down on the one. So, and we asked about that Now, that did not come from the chief or the trustee. That came from, a former member who had done that for them, for Chief White before. I don't know your thoughts on it, Fred, but I like I said, I thought the meeting went well. Like I said, they threw the curve at us out of the start of it, but it's, guys, I'm gonna tell you, it's not gonna be cheap to run a fire department, you know, and it's, I wish I could tell you it would be, but it's not. But I think you guys realize that too, that
Is
it's,
it gonna be less expensive than paying them?
I think
Did
it will.
you-
Well,
Did he
then,
give you a list of the equipment that they said was ours? That you talked about, you said that.
The inventory,
The inventory,
yes, it's broken down into those
Yeah.
4 categories, and there is like I say, there is a column on there that says the things that were there prior to. Now, the one thing we did, we asked about a projector, a laptop projector that this department had that didn't show up on any of the lists. And we asked about that on Saturday, and we were told that they didn't have it. We were told last night they found it. So,
have you had the opportunity to look at our equipment and compare it to
I
this
have not
list?
yet, Toby.
Okay,
And
so you
I
haven't-
just
so you
got the
don't know
list
yet.
yesterday in about mid-afternoon,
Okay.
so.
And Toby, just so the first time I met Jerry, I gave him a list of what
Yes,
Chief White did
yes.
and what we had prepared for the inventory. So he'll have all that to compare. So
Now, I
hopefully,
have been through the engine. I did that with a couple of the members, and we did go through the inventory of the engine, and everything that's on the engine was there prior to, with the exception of a combo tool. Well, there is a Hurst unit on that truck. It's a hydraulic unit that runs what they call like a hydraulic extrication tool. And before the township, or before the territory was formed, on that engine there was 2 pieces of equipment. There was a spreader, what they call a spreader, and a cutter.
Right.
But they were ancient, and they were heavy to operate. It took, basically 2 men to operate them. Chief White did replace that tool with what's called a combo tool. It has both functions in one tool, but the hydraulic unit and the hose was there. And he basically told, and again, this is coming from one of our members, said, I want to replace that tool because this one's better and it will stay with this engine. Now, again, the trustee has asked about that tool. So, now she did mention, and still Fred and I still kind of in the dark on this. What was it, $12,000 is what she brought up. And we're still trying to figure out, Manny, and we may need your help on this one. We don't know if that's the assets that she has put into that station over the years of the territory. But it wasn't clear on, but she did mention it a few times in our meeting.
that's what her financial advisor, at the end of the day, did the whole inventory and determined that Atlanta would owe.
And that's where we got stuck, because we did not see that audit. It was just a little tiny spreadsheet, 2 pages of nothing, and that is where we
Do
got
we
stuck.
think is that?
Because
I
how did
guess
they come
is
to
that
those
assets
numbers?
that she has put into that department?
It would have to be, in order to get at that number, it would have to be a determination of the assets that she put in, the assets that were jointly owned, and the assets of Atlanta that they supported them.
And debt.
Correct.
Yeah, but that money was territory money spent on that station.
Well, it's not what I mean, what the spreadsheet that we're talking about does not say that. It says, here's all the money that our tax base put in, and it's more than what you put in, therefore you owe, and here's all the debt, so therefore you owe this portion of it. Right or wrong, we don't know.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Fred, or if I misspeak here, but they also said that they would forego that debt if we could close this thing out. And we need to do that. We need to just to start, from
Nip it.
scratch and start building again. That was my interpretation of what, was that yours?
Pretty much, basically.
That's the council's call. If you do that, I would love to see it in writing.
Yes.
I would love to say something, but I think it should be said in executive session before.
Now, are you saying, are you insinuating that they want us to just walk away and forget about anything that we think they might have of ours and just, and start a clean slate?
That was my
And be done with-
interpretation from that meeting on Saturday. Fred, do you?
Is it regarding the equipment or regarding the $12,000?
I think it's both. I think it's whatever, we'll keep whatever's down here.
They're gonna give us $12,000 that we don't owe them for us to just walk away and take the knife in the back and smile. And give up all of our equipment and money.
Wow.
Well, I think our equipment money is,
The equipment's down here. So. Now, I will share this, I did notice in that inventory list that I got yesterday on what I call the squatter, the mini pumper down here, there was none done on that, because at the time, that piece of apparatus was not in service, but it's full of equipment also. And so it's still,
So maybe it'd be good if we get that, once you have the time and all your abundance of free time to compare those lists and what they sent us previously. That might be a good start to a different conversation.
yes. But I think you're right, I think if we go that route, we need it in writing. So then I think.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, and especially if it's, if they're saying, if you end up having more equipment than we thought.
So. But there
What's
is.
and I don't know, I'll ask you this, Robin, and I don't know if you can answer it or not, this was before me, but on the air packs, I know, Andy,
I made the air pack deal. I mean, I know what the air pack deal was.
okay, tell us exactly how that went down.
All right. We had 4,000-pound air packs, okay? We had 9 air packs and 27 bottles. 3 air bottles per pack. Jackson Township was still on 2,000-pound bottles. They wanted to go to 4,000-pound bottles, but our air packs weren't that old. So, they got the money, they got a grant and put money into it. The territory did.
The territory.
The territory did. Yes, the territory got the grant, and we used territory money to do a match to get all new air packs and replace everything we had and everything they had with the same model, so everything would be similar. No issues. We took our air packs that we had and sold them to another fire department and gave that money to the territory. And I believe we got, it's either $4,800 or $5,800. Robert would have to go back and look. When we sold those air packs and we gave that money to the territory. If this territory ever dissolved, we were to get 9 air packs and 27 bottles back to replace the stuff we had. And all that stuff was there, and when the split came, they took it and left us with 5.
Oh, we got 4.
4. And so they owe us 5 plus the bottles.
And we have 4 and 12.
Yeah. So at 4, the 12 is right at 3 per, but they owe us.
And who said the 9 were going to be returned after dissolution?
I'll tell you what, Johnny's got it in an email.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say,
It was
John's
discussed.
done it.
It was discussed at fire territory
Meeting.
meeting. I was on the fire territory board.
When was that? What year was that?
I would have to go back and look. But I mean, it would have been 2011 going into 2012.
And that was a board.
Because 2011 was the last time I was on the council.
The return of the 9, was that a board decision?
No, we kept what we get. Yes, we.
Well,
it wasn't the
that's
return.
not-
It
that's
wasn't
not
the
what you just
return of.
explained. I
Wasn't
just
the
wanna be
return.
clear
It
on
wasn't the return of. We kept what we had. That was the whole deal. That was the whole grind.
But it was sold, right? What you just
No,
explained
we
is you
sold.
had them.
We sold the 9 we had
Yep,
and gave that money to the
it's
territory.
the territory, right.
So the deal was, the 9 new ones and bottles stayed ours. Okay, we didn't need to replace ours, but the fire chief wanted to replace ours and theirs. Theirs needed
Yeah, I get
replaced.
it, we're on the
Yeah.
same side. I just wanna
Yeah,
understand what you're saying.
They wanted the same.
They wanted
They
the
wanted
same.
everything
Oh,
the same.
Same bottle, same bottles. They wanted the buddy breathers on them.
Sure.
You know.
I just want to understand how the decision was made to do that and then to
To sell.
expect those back. Not to sell, to match the grant, to return the money from the sale to the territory. Are those all
We
fire
don't-
territory board decisions?
No, yeah, but this and Atlanta Town Council decision, we didn't.
Well, Atlanta Town Council had to make the decision to sell
Yes.
and then to take that money and put it in the territory.
Yes.
Those are Atlanta
And
Council
to
decisions.
accept their,
Yes.
And then to match it. The fire territory board should have made the decision to then say, okay, this is set aside.
Right. We kept the equipment. The deal is that we would keep, even though it was being replaced or upgraded, that we keep any time a piece of equipment that Atlanta had that was replaced or upgraded, we kept. So if we bought new turnout gear,
Okay.
and we had 10 sets, if we left, we had 10 sets of turnout gear, or pick the piece
If
of
Atlanta
equipment.
bought it, right.
No.
If
The
the territory
territory
bought it.
replaced
what
an
Atlanta
item
had.
that we owned prior to the territory, that item stayed ours.
For instance, the combo tool.
Yes, the Hearst tool.
And this is, again, I was told that would stay with the engine.
Yep.
So that's an example.
The combo tool is different because it was a tool for a tool, right?
Yes, it was.
So were the
it was-
airbags.
Physical,
So are the air packs.
well, the air pack, but there's this other issue of the money
No, it's not an
being
issue.
put into. Let me just. I'm
Okay.
trying to figure it out. I'm not
Well,
arguing with you.
I know.
So-
I'll explain it to you.
You're saying decision was made to sell the air packs. Council made a decision to sell the air packs.
Once we had the new ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Council made a decision to sell the air packs.
The
Council-
territory asked us to. Yes.
Regardless,
Yes.
council made a decision to sell the air packs. Got the money. Council made a decision to put the money into the territory.
Yes.
Okay, that's my confusion. That's where would be really helpful for the town to have a decision by the territory board what to do with that money. Because that little piece of information is important.
The board didn't decide to do anything with it. They put it in the territory funds.
Did that money come back into town in some way though?
No.
No,
Okay.
No.
Wouldn't that be part of the territory's public record as to what they've done with that money?
Yeah,
If
that's
it
what
was done
I
on
want to
territory
know.
board.
That email Johnny has, if that was part of a vote, that'd be really important to know.
Okay.
Johnny would know.
Yeah.
He was on the board.
Right, but I need a record of a vote.
Yeah.
That's the key.
And it's in the minutes from the territory.
That's what I mean. Yeah, if we
It's both.
have,
I mean, it's the minutes of the territory when they were talking.
because their position, and I would get it, and we're getting a little bit astray, but
Yeah.
my issue is, and why I keep asking, is
Well,
once you put that money in, it's no longer Atlanta's money. It's the territory's money.
Right.
And the territory's money is distributed per the interlocal agreement, which doesn't say everything you put in, you get back out.
We don't even care about the money. We just want our air packs.
I get it,
Yeah.
but the air packs are no longer there, right? That's the money that was put in, that was sold.
I think, maybe I'm misunderstanding too, but I think maybe Andy's saying when we sold the air packs and stuff, got the $4,800 or whatever it was, we gave that money to the territory with the condition that if there ever was a split, those same equipment that we sold stays with our firehouse.
Here's my argument.
And we didn't get that.
Why?
We didn't get that
If they
after
say
the
they're their
split.
air packs, why'd they leave us for? Just because they love us so much?
They kept the money,
You know,
and to use as their, discretion.
we
Right.
had 9, so.
Well,
that
we negotiated that last summer. That's why they gave us 4.
was bad. I mean, we should have all 9.
So anyway, the record of that vote would be important, just to figure out what that money, what was understood. If it was a condition, great, let's understand that condition.
I don't know if Johnny has that or has it or not, but I mean, I would think that would be public record. You
Where
could
are
find out.
territory minutes?
Yeah.
Where are territory minutes
In the
located?
trustee's
office?
I might have some of them, when we requested various documents, I don't know if we got anything back as far as.
I think Johnny has sent me that email, but that's what I'm looking for now, but I think I left it at home.
So it'd be easy, if you have that email, then whatever that month's meeting, you just go and pull the record.
Because in our conversation Saturday, she said the air packs were sold and that the town of Atlanta kept the money and used it for,
That's a lie.
yeah.
That's a lie.
That's
Robin's got the
what
check.
we were told.
Well,
And we're not here to argue.
No,
That's just what we were told.
it's a lie.
Yeah, that's what we were told.
She had no recollection of that money ever coming
Well,
in.
that's easily.
No shit.
Yeah.
approved.
Exactly.
So anyway, it'd be good to get that inventory list, get that information with the public record, and then maybe have another executive session to discuss.
And, Johnny, get those, the notes and stuff he's got.
I have that, actually, I have that email somewhere, I just have to find it. I thought it was in my,
Well, I'm sure he's probably also got the meetings stating that they were gonna replace our ear packs with new ones, and then,
but that right
And
there,
that they
that's a
would be ours.
huge cost. That's $7,000 an air pack for a unit.
And the extra bottle. 'Cause you don't
Well,
get
that's $7,000 for the whole thing.
with 3.
Well, that's just for an air pack, a bottle, and a spare bottle.
Right.
Yeah, so
Then the other spare bottle.
that's $7,000. So that's a huge. Is that pretty much? I mean, sum up our meeting. I think say it was.
Yeah.
But not one time did we discuss the contract, which I think that was Fred's intent to bring that up, but it just never got discussed, so.
Well, out of curiosity, Jerry, you mentioned that you and Fred, the first thing they asked you was, why do we feel there's a need for us to start up our own fire? What was your reply?
Well, I and to be very honest, I let Fred answer that.
I said that was a good question. Because the way that the chief put it to me, we had a house fire here in town a couple of weeks back, 3 weeks ago maybe.
Right around the corner.
Yeah. There was a 7-minute response time. They responded within 7 minutes.
Made a good knockdown on it.
And he asked me, he said, I just have a question. And he said, I don't know any of the history here. This guy is, and he's, you know,
He's a medic in the well, he's in the IFD, but he's a medic out of the Lawrence area, which is part of IFD.
Okay.
So
he doesn't know a lot of the history. The only thing he knows, I suppose, is what Chris has told him. But he said, you know, why do you feel such a strong need to have a fire department when you have one 3 miles down the road that can respond to a fire within 7 minutes?
Now, as long as you're not somewhere else.
Right. And I didn't know how to answer that.
But then why are we trying to start another fire? You know,
Well,
is there something?
our fire department has the potential to become more than what it is right now, and the
Right.
way I'm sorry, I'm just like.
No, I know.
No,
but
go ahead.
Robin, you're
Because the way it's going now, I'm going, well,
But the
then
way-
why are we starting
But the
one?
way it's going now is, we are like this, Jackson Township.
You're
is
under
like
their
this,
thumb.
And they are raising the they've already raised the contract over a 1-year period.
And the big
So
thing is,
they have us, I
Yeah.
mean,
the big thing is, Greg, is the ALS. It's the ambulance.
Right.
We have no way to provide that. And the second part of that, and this is the worst part, there's not any options out there.
Right.
They've got us kind of open barrel, so to speak.
I mean, we looked at contracting with Cicero. Well, they have a relationship with Jackson Township now that's real tight, and Cicero's not going to, they're not interested in helping us. And then that leaves like a SEALs that's very expensive, and their response time is, man, it's,
Well, Tipton right now Tipton County is looking at other options right now because of some issues with seals up there. You know,
So-
there may be a call and seals ambulance may be in Anderson. So there's issues there.
and you know, the fire piece is the easy piece.
Yes.
If that's all we were talking about, it'd be a no-brainer. I mean, we tell Jackson Township to, you just stay down there. But that's not the whole,
Right.
the ALS piece, the ambulance service is
you
that's
guys-
what scares me.
Yeah. You might share last year, I mean, you guys were called in. Commissioners called them in to a meeting and basically told them, said, you will basically sign the contract because we're not gonna send, police
Yeah.
into this town without some type of EMS system in place.
They can actually refuse that,
They can,
to come to the
The sheriff,
town? I
the
mean,
sheriff's office,
the sheriff's
yeah.
can.
They said if we don't have advanced life support, we're not showing up.
Wow. That's pretty wild.
Even though the county has an interlocal agreement with the township.
And it's our, that just.
Called strong arm
That
politics.
blows me away.
Oh, I know.
It was public, but it's,
I laid awake at night over that. And I still do. On the ambulance, I've got my mother's 80 years old. She can need an ambulance there in 5 minutes. And all
There's a
all
lot
the
of
other
us getting
things,
that close, so.
you know? And to not have one, I mean, we have to. We have to. And I don't like it. I mean, I
one
don't
of the
like
options that we are looking at as a fire department is through the state EMS commission, we can do what's called a BLS non-transport designation, and what that allows us to do is we can do some medical, we just can't transport them. So if we're out, if we're toned out, we can get out before the ambulance gets here, we can initiate, medical care and whatever, and we are working on that, and I think that it will happen.
So you can do it yourself?
Well,
Some of
the
the,
basic.
The basic.
Basic life support, that's what
Right.
BLS
I
stands for.
think out of
until-
the 11 members that we have currently, I think 6 or 7 are EMTs.
but what's the legality of that? Does that come back to, if they do, like we do something from the fire department, haven't been, something happens, does that come back on the town?
Basically what we are, we're I wanna say the front runners or whatever. Once that ambulance gets here, care is
Right.
given off to them, they assume the patient care, so.
The only drawback to that is if you were able to go that way, if that patient needs extensive hospital care that the first responders can't provide, and they have no way to transport that person, they have to wait, and therein
You never know
lies
where
the,
you never know where the ambulance is gonna come
yeah.
from. Jackson may
That's
be,
the
That's
catch.
why, yeah.
it may
That's the
come from
catch.
Cicero, it may come from Sheridan,
Yeah.
maybe come from Tipton,
Yeah,
so, we don't, that's,
it's,
you're right.
So in other words, it's a lot of political stuff. That's the
Yep.
bottom line.
Ding.
That's
Yeah.
what it boils down to.
well, it's legality, it's not
Right.
political, it might be politically motivated,
It
but I
part
mean,
of it.
it's all legal.
Right.
And, as
And that's
Rick
kinda
said,
where I was heading on that, it's, what's the legalities on it? Man, it's just a hard call.
Basically, the
But-
fire territory was disassembled, and then everything was put back together to where now one person controls it
Right.
instead of.
Exactly.
I think you're about this far away of being blackmailed.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, you don't have no service.
Yeah.
If you do it, you'll pay us what we want.
Right.
Yeah.
To me, that's blackmail. I mean, might be a
Putting that
pretty tough word, but I mean, it's,
How many ambulances do they have? Just one?
Jackson currently has one, they're in the works of purchasing a second one. That's what we were told. So,
I mean, if we had, and I've thought of this,
They want us to pay for it.
if we had options, I mean, if we had ambulance A here, ambulance company A, and ambulance company B, and ambulance company C, we could bargain and try to get the best deal and the best service, but we don't.
So it's just like our energy vector and it deals.
Exactly,
We have
right.
no other
No other,
choice.
no other choice. That's the frustrating part.
Princess, start your own ambulance service back here.
Yeah, right.
Why not?
You got all the free time you do, right?
I know well enough, I shouldn't.
Yeah, I seen you driving, I have to say no.
So,
But that's sad,
It is.
you know, you're talking about somebody's life and their health. And then everybody's worried about paying and this and that. I mean, I understand it costs money and all that, but this is the same. Good job, Jim.
yeah,
Brought me down.
Well, it's more than just a question of money. There's been potential corruption, since this thing started, that we have been able to had hardcore
point.
proof for. And it's just put the town of Atlanta in a bad spot. We don't wanna do business with them. And yet we're just about we're forced to, as of right now, until we make other arrangements. It's just simple as that. And the hard part is making other arrangements. Money's always a factor. Territories, illegal territories are a factor. I mean, the average guy out there, I didn't even know that you have to have in order to start a territory, you had to have a road that's adjacent to this person to this person. I mean, there's a lot of legalities that
What do you mean?
doesn't even go in a person's mind.
What do you mean about what?
I'm not even gonna get into
It'd
it,
be
Greg, it's
contiguous.
old and it's just complicated. It's really complicated.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you wouldn't think that it would be that, I guess,
It is.
you know.
It's amazing all the red tape.
Tipton can't help us, or is Tipton in the same shape we are? Or can we go to Tipton?